The E-Class sedan is executive transport with a distinctly Mercedes-Benz attitude, offering nearly as much class and substance as the S-Class flagship with a slightly less imposing profile. This year marks the start of an all-new generation of the E-Class sedan, which has been redesigned from the ground up with more technology and luxury than the outgoing model. As expected, the 6th generation E-Class copies its shape and many of its design elements with the latest C-Class and S-Class. These include flush-fitting door handles and tail light clusters that stretch into the boot lid. According to Mercedes-Benz, the E-Class has a drag coefficient of 0.23, the same as the outgoing model. Measuring 4,949 millimeters long, 1,880 millimeters wide, 1,468 millimeters tall, and riding on a 2,961 millimeters wheelbase, the new E-Class has been stretched out in every dimension except height. Compared to the outgoing model, the W214 E-Class is 26 millimeters longer overall, 28 millimeters wider, and has a 22 millimeters longer wheelbase. Another new character change is done to the front end. The grille is now much larger, the side vents have also expanded, but the headlights are completely new. Gone is its single lower swoop, being replaced by double dip that would be far better at home on the current BMW lineup. In fact, we'd probably like to see these headlights on the 7 Series because they do look better than the current split headlights / running light design BMW is doing. The grille uses a black panel to connect itself between the headlights, eliminating the body color separation and making it as if the grille is floating on the front end. This floatiness is aided in the fact that the radiator is a 3-dimensional design with an additional party trick, a light-up surround that an owner may option for on their build. Mercedes has announced specs for 2 variants of the 2024 E-Class. In the E354matic, a 2.0-liter turbo 4-cylinder engine pairs with an integrated starter generator, making it a mild hybrid. This model produces 255 horsepower and 295 lb-ft of torque, with an additional 20 horsepower and 148 lb-ft of torque available in short bursts. We're hopeful that the addition of mild hybrid tech will make this engine more refined in everyday driving. The E454matic features a 3.0-liter turbo 6-cylinder mild hybrid setup producing 375 horsepower and 369 lb-ft of torque, also with 20 horsepower and 148 lb-ft of boost. We spent a year with a version of this power plant in a last-gen car and came away very impressed with its acceleration, quiet, and responsiveness. Both models come with a 9-speed automatic transmission and AWD. An optional technology package brings an air suspension system with continuously adjustable damping and rear axle steering, which should increase agility and tighten the turning radius. Unsurprisingly, the E-Class's cabin is focused on comfort and quality. Passenger space appears generous in photos, and the interior is lined with rich-looking materials such as leather upholstery and metal trim. Overall, the design looks high-end and nicely complements the car's handsome exterior styling. Although the E-Class has been offered as a coupe and a convertible in the past, we're expecting this generation to stick strictly to a four-door layout. Vehicles with the interior active ambient light system will allow passengers to see their music, with the lights pulsing to the beat and colors changing to the rhythm or mood. A two-zone climate control air conditioning system is standard, while the four-zone option can be fitted with automatic vent adjustment and fragrance ionisers. Technology is a main focus on the 2024 E-Class. In what Mercedes calls a superscreen, one large surface of glass houses the central infotainment screen and the front passenger screen. A digital instrument cluster stands on its own in front of the driver. Mercedes tells us the digital instrument cluster is 12.3 inches, the central display is 14.4 inches, and the optional passenger display is 12.3 inches. To curb distracted driving, Mercedes designed the passenger screen so that the driver can't see it when the vehicle is in motion. In the E-Class, screens and the MBUX infotainment system share a new, powerful central onboard computer, a pairing which Mercedes says will improve the performance of the data streams. Drivers can access new apps on the center display, including TikTok, Angry Birds, WebEx, Zoom, and Vivaldi. Additionally, drivers can create their own routines with MBUX to automate comfort functions. Mercedes gives an example of one such command: switch on the seat heating and set the ambient lighting to warm orange if the interior temperature is below 50 degrees. Another promising feature, with optional active ambient lighting, lights in the cabin coordinate with the beat of the music. The seat controls are still at the top corner of the doors near the door jamb. The gear selector is still on a stalk rather than taking up space in the center console, and the steering wheel is still awash with touch-sensitive controls you may or may not find yourself activating by accident. The center console is devoid of controls of any sort and instead features a cubby hidden away by a sliding lid that reveals the cup holders and a small storage area. It's all new for the E-Class, but fans of the brand who are familiar with its more contemporary offerings will likely find the cabin quite familiar. Safety and driver assistance features. Although it comes standard with several driver assists such as automated emergency braking and blind spot monitoring, most other equipment costs extra, including adaptive cruise control with lane centering. The body proportions hide the larger trunk area, which its deck lid does look smaller from the side, but this is thanks to its greenhouse flowing into the rear quarter panel so smoothly. This body also belies the additional cargo room in the trunk, now at 19 CUFT of space. Even with this additional length, the E-Class has a turning circle of only 35.4 inches when its optional rear steering axle is used. The single upward swoop is replaced by a double dip and the taillights extend further into the rear quarter panel than before. Finally, the rear exhaust takes on an evolution of its design, but the rear apron gets new aerodynamic strakes and a lot less chrome.